I didn't get any cards or any of that kind of stuff, because that's what happens to people who really work hard. But she's fantastic, and she has a very different philosophy. She's done a lot of things that, and I'll tell you some of the things she's done. Well, first of all, she's a health coach. She's from Lithuania, so when I first met her, it took me a long time to understand her, and then I felt Lawrence Welk, and then I started understanding her. And you'll see what I mean. But she's brilliant, and her last name is brilliant as well. She is a blogger, she's a great athlete, and she's also what's called a fruitarian. So she has a different philosophy, and she works with the fruit world, and we have some of her fruit fans. The fruit flies is their softball team. But she's here, and I adore her, and I thank her so much for coming. She's going to talk for a few minutes about her world. A nice big hand for Jolita. Brilliant.
Hello, everyone. How are you today?
Great.
I would like to start with a question. How many of you tried vegetarian diets or are vegetarians? Yeah. Okay, it's fine. Who are vegans? Yeah. Who are raw vegans? Let's still have some hands. So, how did I got into raw vegan diet and fruitarian? Some of you who are already vegetarians or vegans, you might understand that it's not as hard as people think to stop eating meat and become plant eater. Because when we look at the nature, all animals have instincts, and they know what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat. Humans in 21st century has trouble doing this, and we can see by the numbers of obesity, by the numbers of different diseases. It's very upsetting, but I believe that in this century we will solve this problem, because we have to solve it. Our environment is getting polluted, and our species, other animal species, are being going extinct because the rainforests are cut down, because we have to raise all these animals for our meat, and they consume a lot of grains. We need a lot of land. 70% of grains in U.S. goes to feed all the animals. So instead, I'm fruitarian. I love this diet because instead of cutting down the trees, we can plant the trees, and it will produce oxygen, and it gives food, and in very small amount of land yields a lot of fruit. And 10 pounds of protein from beef, we need the same amount of water as we need for 1 pound of plant-based protein. So it's very inefficient to have meat diets, and now these paleo diets coming into the health food scene, which is in reverse of vegetarian and vegan diet. And I just see people destroy their health, which is very unfortunate. But fruitarian diet, okay, so people say to me, well, it's too much sugar, and but we are apes, and all apes, monkeys, and bonobos, gorillas, they are plant eaters. Sometimes some monkeys are scavengers. And humans, I don't say, everybody should be vegetarian, vegan, vegetarian, but it's in our skeleton, in our digestion, in our brain, compassion, hands for fruit, not for killing, let's say, a rabbit. Our whole body is evolved to millions of years eating plant-based diet. And people still in this day in the world mostly live on plant-based diets, except the more developed countries. And more developed countries has the biggest numbers of diseases, like heart diseases and obesity and diabetes. So the fruit sugar, it's not harmful because when you eat fruit, you get the fiber and you get the water content and you get phytonutrients, anti-cancer fighting nutrients. Of course, you have to eat your greens and vegetables and in small amounts nuts and seeds. And fruit doesn't cause diabetes. It will not make you obese. I haven't met one person who got cancer or diabetes from living on fruit or plant-based diets. This just doesn't happen. There is no such thing. So when you already have a body out of balance, which been eating, let's say for 10, 20, 30 years, foods that are not meant to eat for Homo sapiens, then you might want to stay away for some time from too much fruit. But once you get healthy, we need the fruit, we need the sweet taste, and we love it, and that's the most natural to eat for us. Just take banana, take from the tree, peel it off, and it's carbohydrates. All athletes know that you just can't run on fats. We're not made to run on fats. Fats is for storing the energy. They have 9 calories per gram, where carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram, and they are easily, it's just straight energy. You don't have to convert. It just goes through glycolysis, and it's you're ready to run, for mental clarity, for exercise, anything. And protein from, you eat the greens, that's where you get the protein, but also fruit also has protein. I know many successful people, and I'm just wondering why this is not known more than it should, because there's athletes that running 100-mile races, like Victoria Sarstein's husband. He's the winner of 100-mile races, several times a month, and he's a fruitarian, and he wasn't able to win before he went fruitarian. There is other people like Tim Van Orden and Brandon Brazier, a plant-based athlete. And myself, I used to be 20 pounds overweight, didn't have energy to exercise. At one point I was anorexic, I was yo-yo dieting, and I couldn't get into normal homeostasis with myself. My mom died from colon cancer and my dad from heart attack, so that's why I also started to learn why this happened, how can we prevent this? And I researched everything I could, and what's the best diet for humans? What's the most natural diet for humans? And fruit-based, vegetable-based, greens is the most natural diet, because nuts grows only 2 months in a year, the season is, so you can't live on them the whole year. What's left? Fruit left. They grow all year round, and we are tropical creatures, and we like warm environments. We now have, this is tropical environment. We're not sitting outside in the snow. So, and vegetables left, tubers, different kind of plants. So, cakes, breads doesn't grow on trees, and it's medical community noticed that gluten, bread, lactose in milk, it's not healthy, but these things are not being promoted or told to people, because then there would be no business. There would be no pills to sell, no hospitals. I mean, yes, we need hospitals for emergency, But not for, like, diabetes is not even a disease, it's a condition from too much animal cholesterol, plaque covers your veins. Then you eat carbohydrates, especially refined sugars like bread, pasta, all these things, and then carbohydrates can't get into your cells to give you energy. And then insulin is pancreas releases insulin in this cycle every meal, every 4 hours. Your body just tries to clean this mess out from the food you put in, and then one day it gives up, and then you get diabetes. But good news is that you can reverse it. Where I was going is that you know, fruit is something that you can eat in the morning and at the breakfast, and then have big bowl of salad in the evening, and a little bit of nuts and maybe 1 ounce of nuts and seeds or avocados or things like that. Oh, and one important thing, milk is something that when we look like, why do we drink cow milk? Why would somebody want to drink other mammals? Let's say, why not rat milk? Why not horse milk? Like, maybe it tastes, I don't know. It's not that cow milk is exceptional to other mammals' milk. It's just that cows are very peaceful animals, and it's easy to cage them. They don't fight, they don't bite, and we use them. It's animal exploitation at first degree, and they spend their lives not seeing the light, not going outside, and also these days they add growth hormones. They have to give them antibiotics, and when we consume that milk, you know, it makes people grow the same like the cow's milk is made to grow for small cow babies. So we expand, we get obese from all these animal products, from these hormones. Estrogen also gets out of balance, and estrogen, especially for men, contributes to, you know, big belly and man boobs and all these things. So, I mean, you know, I'm not saying you can't have a little bit there and there. Maybe in nature you would go and suck a little bit on the cows. But you know, I prefer not to do it. So, yes, if you would like to stay in touch with me, I also run a blog and I talk about different things like diet and sports, and I am a runner too, which thanks to my vegetarian diet, I thought, you know, I could never be one, but so I also attend Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and it's a school for people who would like to learn more about how to help other people, how to help themselves, people who are looking maybe for a new career or other part-time jobs. So if you're interested in that, you can approach me for that as well, because I'm an ambassador for that school. And if you're interested in health coaching, you can also approach me on jolitabrilliant.com. And thank you so much. You are wonderful.
You know, it really is true. One of the things we've been lied to, well, one of the things they ask vegans or raw food is, where do you get your protein? Where do you get your protein? And we get it from the food we eat, because that's what happens. And actually, it's much better to get your protein from plant-based foods because it's easy to assimilate in the body. Of course, they're going to tell you opposite because there's a lot of money involved. And that's the thing we have to be careful of. You know, when I watch advertising nowadays, because I was in advertising after school, and I used to lie for a living, and made shitty money, and couldn't sleep at night, and now I tell the truth for a living, and I make a shitload of money, and I sleep like a baby, which is fantastic. But the interesting thing, when I watch advertising now, I realize these people are not my friends. They're not doing things that, like, hey buddy, I got some good stuff for you. They're going, look, we have shit